Okay, can you hear me? Okay, sorry about the little delay. I was rushing between the various meetings. My name is Girish Manmadka. I'm a part of VMware Cloud Foundation HCI BU team. We produce Cloud Foundation as well as we produce vSAN. And if you have heard about VVD, that's also coming in from HCI BU based out of Palo Alto. I'm going to go and talk about Cloud Foundation, a little bit more primer on Cloud Foundation as such. How many of you have heard Cloud Foundation and how many of you know what Cloud Foundation is? Can you please raise your hands? Looks like everyone attended Pat's general session yesterday. So how much you know about Cloud Foundation? What does it mean? Does it mean like it's just another set of product, or does it mean like it's pricing and packaging? Do you have any more idea about what it is? Apart from just knowing the name by itself, right? So we'll go a little bit more, do a double click on what it is, right? So from a corporate vision point of view, if you look at it, we want to make sure that the customer, they have a way to really deploy infrastructure with consistent way of doing the deployment of architecture, making sure the consistency from data center point of view is there within the environment, which is securely enough. And also from the architecture point of view, if you look back like from last 20 years, we have been asking, I'm coming from PSO background, right? So we were asking customer, do a design deploy of individual products, right? Which means that if there's a vSAN, I'll go and do a design deploy. If there's a vSphere, I'll go and do a design deploy. So those things are kind of going away because what we do from the HCI BU point of view, we bring all these products together. We do an interoperability check of each and every product and their versions, for example, and then basically we produce a documented guidance, which we call it as a VMware validated design, and then we ship it to you, which is free, probably 600 page of a document. It kind of takes time for you to really deploy a right architecture, but then we said just giving a documentation is not enough for a lot of customers because it still takes about 35-40 days to bring up a stack of my environment. So then we said, after you test, after you validate, you produce a documented guidance, but then what else we can do? We can automate that. That's when basically Cloud Foundation comes into the picture to really ensure that the environment that you're trying to bring is all tested, validated with right architecture and automated. So when we deploy it based on automation, it is simple to deploy and it's easy to manage as well from day two point of view. What does it mean? Day two point of view is basically it is giving you an ability to perform life cycle management of the entire stack, right? If I have to do a management of such a stack which has storage, networking, and we realize sort of automation on top of it optionally, if I have to apply a patch at one single place, I have to go through a lot of process of understanding what are the compatibility things are. Where is it compatible? Is it compatible to my vSphere? Is it compatible to my what patch level? So we take care of that compatibility check and then we ship you a bundle and that bundle is tested, validated. You can schedule that and you can run that particular process by yourself based on automation. And also it gives you a simplified experience. When you talk about hybrid cloud, literally if you heard that any public cloud which is powered by VMware is powered by VCF architecture. What it means that for you as a customer, if you want to expand as a bus into a public cloud which is powered by Cloud Foundation, there is no need for you to learn anything new. It is all there because your teams are already using Cloud Foundation and UI and the interface and understanding of architecture. Same is replicated onto public cloud. So that's the simplicity that is kind of delivered by Cloud Foundation than anything else. So you really have an option to go multi-cloud. You can go to GCP on VMware, you can go to VMC on AWS, you can go to Azure on VMware. So all these options that are coming up will give the same architecture, same simplicity to drive your application. And also it gives you an ability to do a workload mobility. A lot of time that you can move a workload to a public cloud, but you cannot move back. VMware has taken care of that, like you can move to a public cloud for an interim basis and you can move back to your own data center as per your need. So that's what we deliver today. Nobody else is there in the market has that capability to do a multi-cloud. I can have a virtual machine sitting in my on-prem environment, I can move it to different sites, or I can move it to public cloud and I can move it to any cloud. Make sense? So what it means, I think I just a little bit touched upon. It is based off of it's a BOM, software bill of materials, that we bring all our products together. We have interlock with various business units producing all the products. We test, we validate, and then we ship you a bundle, right? In this example, if you look at the options here, right? So we are also doing enterprise PKS deployment. If you have a customer, if you have any of your internal developers interested in PKS testing or deploying some application based on PKS, we deploy the entire PKS architecture for you within a span of few hours, right? That gives you an ability to really start consuming infrastructure for your developers as quickly as possible. Now, if there is a patch coming in from Pivotal for PKS, we accommodate that as well. So what we do, we can download both the patches in an interface, what we call SDDC Manager. It allows me to download VMware patch, it allows me to download VCF patches, and also it allows me to download PKS patches. We do an interoperability check, and once it is validated, we are able to perform the patching process. So it's a single same button for you, not to worry about is my PKS applicable to vSphere version that I have. So it's all been taken care by Cloud Foundation. So giving you a simple button. So this is my BOM, depending on what versions of VMware product that are being released. You may have a small patch for vSphere going from U3 to U4, or you may have a patch going from vSAN going from U3 to U4 or things like that. So all that dependency, all that interoperability tested, validated, and we ship you one bundle. That bundle you can download from SDDC Manager very easily and then schedule your patch in your environment, not to worry about spending time on a weekend. Since this is tested, validated patch, we guarantee you that this will execute successfully in given environment. So now double dipping a little bit more about the storage, right? This is the topic of today's discussion. So talking about VMware Cloud Foundation, multi-cloud strategy, let us talk about customers like you who might have invested into standard storage, legacy storage. How do we consume that? Cloud Foundation does allow you to consume any storage now, moving forward with 3.9 that we released. But let us look at vSphere specific, right? How the overall shift in the industries are happening. So if you look at this slide, it's talking about from vSphere point of view, what the things have been taken care or shifting within the region or within the industry. Like customers are running a block of file depending on the protocol that they use, traditionally VMFS or NFS, and also for this SCSI based either FC, ASCII or FCOE that they are running. But now if you look at it, they are kind of moving towards more granular, more policy based access control that they want to have with the storage, right? So when it comes to vSAN or vWall, we are able to give them that kind of advantage of having a policy based on a VM specific requirements or given application. And also a lot of customers are shifting towards NVMe based kind of storage, and also NVMe over a fiber as well. So a lot of applications in terms of their I/O and their throughput requirements are demanding to shift from traditional to the newer models of storage capacity that they are available in the market. So let us do a little bit more click on how the shifts are happening, right? So from the block point of view, this is today. If you look at it, customers are already using FC or RDMAs, right? And then they are looking at as outlook, like where else I can go. So this is not VCF specific, but this is more like a storage specific trends that we are seeing it in the market, that everyone wants to move towards vWall or NVMe with vWall, as well as FC and RDMA support that they want to continue, right? And then if you look at the file is kind of running fine with NFS 3.0 or 4.0, and vWall is running with NFS 3, and they are moving into NVMe. Just because their application requirements are there that requires you to have specific type of storage. And if you look at vSAN is continues to go in the same fashion and kind of delivering you similar capacity and features as well. So I like this slide actually. If you can kind of think about it from VMware Cloud Foundation point of view. So management domain, which is my management cluster, today we got to have vSAN for that for sure, right? because that's when basically we have more control on vSAN, vSphere, NSX in the mix, right? As well as all other products that VMware is producing, so that we can build this management cluster in few hours rather than few weeks or few days. Literally, if I'm building it based on this automation, in about 2 hours I can see my management cluster is up with all the right validated design architecture into place when I'm saying that this is done, right? Now, a lot of customers say, hey, you know what, vSAN is great, but I would like to have some other options, right? So we started with vSAN, workload domain is my VI cluster. You can have vSAN as a default choice of yours if you want to, but if you have NFS, which is supported today, you can definitely pick and choose that when you're creating a workload domain, which is my cluster, based on automation, you don't need to really worry about adding a host, entering root credentials, and then creating a cluster, putting all the details about your cluster settings. It's all done by the automation for you, right? You just say, I would like to create a workload domain, and then during that process, it's going to ask you, oh, do you have vSAN or do you have NFS? And now with 3.9, we give an option whether it's FC, whether you have fiber channel that you would like to create a workload domain with. So you get all these options while you are creating a workload domain, which will allow you to consume your investment. If you have invested heavily into your FC storage and you don't want to get rid of it, you have an option to utilize, consume an FC storage depending on which your protocol that you use. Gives you an advantage that my management cluster, that's where all the management components are sitting, managing and maintaining my environment, has automation, has a lifecycle automation attached to it, and I don't need to worry about it. But still, I can continue consuming my NFS storage that I have invested or my FC storage that I have invested into. Make sense? So there are certain various use cases that we have seen that a lot of customers are looking at when it comes to storage specific, right? It could be a application which is IO intensive, looking for maybe NVMe kind of storage. VMware Cloud Foundation allows you to create a workload domain based on such policies. You can pick and choose specific set of servers. Those are NVMe enabled servers, and you can create a cluster out of your inventory for that particular use case. You may have DR or DP kind of site recovery requirements. You can certainly do so as well. That for site recovery on a DR side, I don't need to spend money on my NVMe storage. I don't need to spend money on my all flash kind of storage capacity. I can use hybrid model there, and I am good with it. Or I can have NFS with it, right? Because it's just a dark set or DR side. So depending on that, simplifying the part to the hybrid cloud or multi-cloud. I think I just talked about it, and a cloud burst. If you want to burst into the cloud, that's the option that it allows you. And we are kind of working on some other futuristic things as well. Make sense? So far so good? So I think this is what I was talking about, that you have a way to really define various types of workload domains based on your storage policies or storage type that is attached to it. I have blocked this particular section because this is futuristic, but we are working on some other options that where and how we can really help you, that using some component from VMware point of view. If you have heard about vVols, vVols gives you an ability to have underline any type of storage that you may have, and it can just work with it. We are not there yet, but we are working something in a futuristic way to allow you to move in that direction. So this kind of gives you a little bit more clear picture on what are the various storage integration levels that we have as of today and where we are working. So these are the things that we are working, as I said, on vWall. This you will see. Again, this is like, futuristic thing, may change in future, but the guidance is like where and how we can give more flexibility to the customers. If you can, you got a question?
Yes, I got a question about objects.
Okay, can I take that question offline if you don't mind, please? Yeah. Because I'm almost at the end of it. So this is basically, you have it today. We have an automation to deploy, right? And we can take care of patching, managing everything automatically. But if it is FC or iSCSI, we deploy it, but we do not have any other policy-based management or lifecycle management attached to it, because this is what we don't want to get into it. Like if it is FC has its own nuances, and each storage vendor will have their own nuances, but at least from the deployment point of view, we are able to deploy it in a fashion of automation delivered by SDDC Manager or Cloud Foundation. And if you need any more help, please reach out to me, reach out to us, or reach out to your account reps. We have some programs which are called design partnership programs. So if you have a need of something which is not in the list, but you still wanted to make sure that you are interested in Cloud Foundation, but you want to consume your storage, we can work with you under design partnership program and take the next steps with you. And same thing, you need to ask your storage vendor that how can they support VCF moving forward. Okay? With that said, thank you very much for your time and thanks for your patience. I hope it was more useful information for you that I could share. Thank you and have a fun. Thank you very much.